Okay, now, because the awesome special with this, I know I've talked about it, but it's a limited time. So this awesome blended seasons, it's like really hard with Facebook Live to get close enough for the project and enough for you guys to see everything, but it's a 2-stamp set, blended seasons, and then the amazing stitched seasons. I think these are framelits. Yep, these are called framelits. And I've showed this before too, but I just wanted you guys to see, those of you who are new, I'm hoping you can see that the framelit not only cuts out and stitches this design, but it leaves the hole with a design also, which you can then use. So it's very cool. And before I get into the project, I'll show you a couple of projects that are coming up with this. This is my stamp of the month this month. Oh, and there's also awesome new watercolor pencils. So cool. New colors. So all of this is available, and you can find it by contacting me or on my demonstrator website, or go to MemoryINKers.com. Anyway, these are some of the cards that we're going to be making at Stamp of the Month. Some of them you've seen before. Now my girls, I love them, but they were worried about fussy cutting. So we're going to be doing the simple version of this card if you have not seen this card before. So the simple version of that. And of course, I always tell them, stamp your envelopes. So important. And then we're going to be doing this one, which is the simple version of this card. Watercolor pencils, blends. 2 different styles and 2 different feelings, which I think both of them are quite beautiful. I hope you guys would agree. So those are some of the things that we're going to be doing with Stamp of the Month. So don't miss your opportunity to join this, and when you do, you're going to get the directions for all of the projects, all of them, the simple version and the advanced version, plus one other that I haven't decided yet. And I will also give you all of the materials and everything that you need to make the simplified versions, and of course you get the stamp set. So contact me with that, and we will talk about that. So here is what we're going to do today. I am going to show you how I made this fun card. Isn't it pretty? This is with a couple of new items from the upcoming holiday catalog. Of course, I'm using the labels from the Stitched Seasons, the limited edition, only available this month set. Also, this Merry Christmas is from there, but the adorable deer and this little lacy cutout, and those are going to be available in the holiday catalog. This, though, this is special designer series paper, and somewhere I put it to be organized, and therefore don't know where it is. Oh, I found it. Yay. This is very special paper that's going to be available for hostesses and or groups that decide to put together a $250 total products order or more. They're going to get this awesome designer series paper. It will be in 12 by 12, and there are a lot of pages to it. Let's see. There are, sorry, you know how organized I am. Oh, it doesn't say. Oh, 12 sheets. So there's going to be 4 sheets of each. So it's going to be great for making your holiday cards because you're going to have more than enough to make them. And so we're going to make this little card. So I'm going to keep this because I'm going to need that for the card. And I'm going to sit. So if you have questions, type loudly. I'm just kidding, of course. All right. So the base is done with cherry cobbler, which you all know is 8.5 by 5.5. So you just cut in half a 11-inch piece of cardstock, and then you want a bone folder, of course, to fold it nice and flat. Okay, so that's the base piece. Then we're going to just adhere this beautiful designer series paper to the front with our snail adhesive. I already know that I've forgotten to bring stuff over to the table, but luckily for me, it's very close, so I can grab it later. Okay, so we're going to adhere that and just kind of eyeball it. Now this piece is cut 4 inches by 5 1/4, which everything always goes down 1/4 when you're doing this type of matting. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside for just a minute while I stamp the deer. The deer is from, hang on, this adorable to die for dashing deer. Some of you may remember the birthday card I made for my son-in-law with a specialty stamp set that we had during the, I don't know if it was around this time. It might have been around this time of year last year, that had a similar deer, only it was wearing a sweater. And I made a very cool card with that. So when this came out, I got so excited because to me, it's just beautiful. And it has the deer, 3 different deers, and some of the greatest sentiments. Oh my gosh, they're just awesome. So we are going to use this set. I'm also going to be using a couple, oh, I forgot to, this is so new that I have not even labeled it. And you guys know I do label my clear mount stamps. I know not everybody does, but I do, but it's just been so long. So I'm going to show you a little trick, and I don't think this is coming up on camera very well. Plus I have some Wink of Stella on there, and I don't think you can see it on camera, but this guy I did not do just the normal stamping with. So I probably need a scrap of paper. So, okay. So, hi Dee. Oh my gosh, how are you? I miss you and your mommy. Okay, so now I'm going to open the soft suede. And this is one of the new ink pads. So remember, no pushy poppy thingy. You just pull it open like a compact. Okay? And I'm going to ink up the little reindeer, and then I'm going to stamp him off like that. Then this is the reindeer that has, what did I do with the stamp set? That has the like fleur-de-lis kind of looking thingy, if that's what you want to call it. So I'm going to stamp up the body of that deer, and I'm just going to try and kind of, not perfectly, kind of cover up the body of the baby deer. Can you guys see that? Can you see how, I don't know if it's going to show up on there, but it inked the cool little swirlies onto the baby deer. So now I can take my scrap and stamp them on there. And I don't know if you can see, but it isn't perfect, but it gave him sort of a swirly-do look. And it's always going to be different because you're going to hit it differently every time you stamp this. So let me cut this out real quick with the Big Shot for you. And somewhere, I always have to hunt things down. I have the die. There it is. Okay. And I've pre-cut a few other things for you guys, so you don't have to wait for me to do all of that. So as you can see now, I have my cute little deer all cut out. He's adorable with the framelit, which is just so stinking cute. I love it. Then you're going to see that I have on the original card, I have this pretty little swirl. That is one of these little corners from the framelits, and then I punched out one of these in the garden green. This is garden green, and then these two in the cherry cobbler, which is the color of the card base. So move that over there. And I have cut out the garden green and some more of that. That's the designer series paper. It's actually the back of the front piece. And you probably cannot tell, but it is the same swirl that is in the big deer stamp. And then I've cut out all the other little pieces as well. So I am going to simply use my snail. Pardon me if I'm out of camera. It's very hard for me to tell when I'm sitting down if I'm out of camera, but I'm pretty sure when I'm up here I'm good. Okay, then I'm going to adhere this to the front of the card. No dimensionals. You know, I love making things dimensional, But if you're going to be making a lot of Christmas cards this year, you might want to keep things a little flatter and avoid paying additional postage. Because if you're like me, nobody likes to do that. It's just not fun. So, then for my next tip, like I said, there were things I forgot. I want to adhere some of these little things together. And to do that, hang on, I'm opening a zip bag. Okay. I have an old sponge, and I keep this in a Ziploc bag because it's always sticky until it just is no longer functioning. So let me bring this up, and I'm going to show you my tip. You can kind of see that I've already been doing it, and I've showed you guys this tip before. But I'm going to just squeeze a little bit of our awesome, whoops, my hair's falling out, so it's always everywhere. Sorry about that. Liquid glue. And then this is a new tool that will be available in the holiday catalog as well. It comes with these two ends, which I'll show you in a minute, a spare of this end, and then these two can replace this side. And it's stylus, like for when you're scoring and things. So that's a very cool little item. So I will be using that in a minute. So I'm going to flip all of these over because I want them all to be adhered. And you don't need a lot. You just need a little bit. So don't get nuts. And you're just going to get some adhesive on there. You could cut these out while the cardstock is adhered to one of our awesome multi-purpose adhesive sheets, which is very cool, I admit, but sometimes when things are this intricate, those adhesive sheets want to leave like boogers in between everything, for lack of a better word. So I don't know if you guys can see this. I am going to adhere this red one onto this green one, and I'm doing this from a distance, so I can't see really well. This is where this little doohickey comes in handy. It's got like a little rubberized end to it. Oh, because it's sticky, it doesn't want to sticky. Let me see if I can do it this way. There. Then you can kind of see better to place it. How cool is that, right? Isn't that cool? And then, of course, it was too far away for me to really see what I was doing. But then I'm going to put some sticky on the back of this. So everything's got adhesive on the back. Since I have enough there, I may as well use it, right? And I am going to stick this piece that I've already used the adhesive on. I'm going to stick this kind of in the corner up in here onto that piece. I'm going to put this piece on top of that piece. Oh, there is a matching design. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. Then I am going to use, whoops, my table is not even, so everything always rolls off. I am going to use my Cherry Cobbler ink, and I want to do the Merry Christmas. Oh, that's not the, here it is. I want to do the Merry Christmas like this because it won't fit the other way, but the stamp has it all the way across. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up the Merry, and then I'm going to take some tape, and I'm just going to cover where I think maybe I got some ink on the C for Christmas. And I'm going to stamp on top. I have to stand up for this. Then you get the pretty Merry. Then take off your tape. Save that. Then I'm going to kind of stamp off a little bit. Stamp up the Christmas and use that tape to cover the Merry. And I have found that sometimes you need to do a long one across, and then it doesn't matter because otherwise it wants to lift up, if that makes sense. You can use your Stamp-A-Majig or your Stamp-A-Ratus for placement on this. I'm being brave. There you go. Now I have the Merry Christmas just the way I wanted it. Then I'm going to take that last little flower, And I'm going to add it on there, right like that. Now I didn't leave very much room because I forgot I wanted to put my deer on there. So I may have to adjust this one a little bit differently than the original, and that's okay. I'm going to be adding more stuff, but one of the tricks I want to show you, and some of you who have been watching a long time know this one, but if you take your Stampin' Right marker on the brush end and hold on to your item and just edge it like that, if you keep it close to the edge, you're going to get a really pretty outline of this that you don't really notice until you put it down onto something lighter. And if you're really worried about it not being dark enough, you can, if you're brave, you can go over it a little bit more. So I'm not going to do the whole thing because you guys get the idea. And then I put on there some of the beautiful red Basic Jewels rhinestones. I don't know if you can see them. So all of that is on there, and the only thing that is popped up is the reindeer. So I'm not going to glue it down because I'm not finished, but I want you guys to see how that part gets put together. Okay, so see, I can still do my deer. This one's just going to be off a little bit, and he would get put on with Stampin' Dimensionals. Oops. Okay. Now, the other thing is you do not want to forget to do the inside of your card. So if you look at the inside, this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I use the Cherry Cobbler ink to stamp a sentiment from the Dashing Deer. And there's so many of them. I just love them. Happiest Christmas wishes, many merry thanks. This is a great one for all of those gifts we get at the holidays, or if you're going to somebody's party or something. This one I love too. We have so many people that at the end of the year we like to recognize, and it says, with appreciation for all you do for your year-round spirit of giving. And then I'm using this one, remembering you this season with warm thoughts and a wish for everything merry. So I would just pull that out, and since I did not bring a block over, I will use this one and try to see if I can read if it's upside down or not. Okay, and then I have a customer who, she can never get anything straight with a Stamp-A-Majig, with it doesn't matter. So this is for you, Lorene, if you're out there watching this later. You can stamp it off in the corner, and then you don't have to worry about getting it straight. And then for this bottom piece, all I did was I used my Stampin' Right markers to color. And if any of you don't know how to do that, I will do that for you real quickly also. Let me take the Merry Christmas off this block and all of those pieces of tape. Close that up. And where did I put it? I pulled it out. There it is. Okay. So what I did with that is I went a little bit nutty, as is my way. And I don't know if you can see here, but it's red. There's little red dots. There's red here. So I'm not going to do the whole thing because it takes a lot of time, and I don't want to bore you guys to death. But basically, this is what you would do. Take the brush end of your marker again, and you color in the flower. Okay, it's hard for me to see this. And then I find it helpful to have the stamp set in front of me when I'm doing this, because then I can go, oh look, there's a little dot by each side of the flower. Then I have to hold it up for my old eyes, guys, and I can find those little red dots in the design, and then decide how you're going to want to color everything. And if you make a mistake, just lick your thumb and wipe it off. Did I gross anybody out? That is what I do. I'm sorry. If you use any of my stuff, there's probably my DNA in it. But anyway, you would do all that with the little red ones, and then you would do some with the green. This is Garden Green and Cherry Cobbler, which are the same colors used in the card. And then you would color all of the green, which obviously I'm not doing for you guys today. But you would then just stamp it. If it has been a while since you've started coloring, which it probably is, you want to huff it, which is blowing your hot air, and then stamp it. And as you can see, you actually can get more than one. This is obviously way too light to match the design. But what's cool is this is the exact same design that's on the designer series paper. If you look at it, it's the exact same design. So it's a great way. So you're going to want to try and get your friends together and get yourself a party together so that you can order this designer series paper. Don't forget that the special is available for a limited time only. It's through the end of August or while supplies last. And it is so amazing that, whoops, supplies may not last until the end. So if you're interested, contact me or go to my website. You can go to MemoryINKers.com, my blog, and there will be a link there to shop on my website. Or contact me if you're interested in coming or ordering the Stamp of the Month projects. If you do order this bundle in the next few days, let's say I'll give you a week. If you order it by next week, I will send you directions for at least one of the cards that I showed you. One of these awesome cards. Obviously, if you join the club, you're going to get the directions for all of them, plus another bunch that I have not designed yet. So those are all those things to talk about. Please, please, please share this video with your friends so that they can get in on this awesome opportunity as well. You don't want to have this all to yourself. I mean, okay, maybe you do, but be nice and share with your friends so that they can enjoy this cool thing and make beautiful cards too. Plus, then you guys can get together and make sure you're not all making the same cards to send to like the other neighbors so that you can be unique. So anyway, thanks so much for stopping by. Does anybody have any questions before I say my final farewell?